Good morning. Welcome back to Bible and Blues. It is Wednesday morning. We're halfway through the week. Isn't that awesome? Praise Jesus. All right. One of the things I want to talk about today is I really don't like this thing. One of the things that I want to talk about today was there was a brawl in a church in Macon, Georgia. And I want to bring that up, and then we're going to be doing our Bible reading. We're going to read Psalm 87. So hang on just a moment. We will be right back with that. I was going to use a thumbnail for that part there, but I kind of forgot that I didn't load one up this morning. So I am Cameron, your host. Welcome back to Bible and Blues. It is so great to have you here again with me this morning. Whether you're watching it now or you're watching it later on, it is still great. And so we do this every single morning. If you're new, welcome. I hope you get something out of this. I like to do a Bible reading, maybe give a little commentary on it. I like to, and if there's some sort of a particular item that's catching my ear this morning, I might mention that. This is done early in the morning, and it's first thing I do. I might have one cup of coffee in me before I start this. Today I do have one cup. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and read Psalm 87. Of the sons of Korah, a psalm, a song. He has set his foundations on the holy mountains. The Lord loves the gates of Zion more than all the dwellings of Jacob. Glorious things are said of you, O city of God. I will record Rahab and Babylon among those who acknowledge me. Philistia too, and Tyre, along with Cush. And will say, this one was born in Zion. Indeed, of Zion it will be said, this one and that one were born in her, and Most High Himself will establish her. The Lord will write in the register of the peoples, this one was born in Zion. As they make music, they will sing, all my fountains are in you. Here's the reading of the Lord. Thanks be to God. This particular thing, I've mentioned this before. Zion has come to mean something totally different. Just like many things, the secular world has latched onto it and grabbed onto it and said, we're going to call this a bad thing, and or we're going to turn it into something different than what it was. In a case where it can be argued bad versus good, Zion is right up there. How many people do you know that use the phrase Zionist? And as a really bad thing, as a person who is pushing towards, almost an issue of racism or elitism. Okay, and I always think it's kind of funny because the people who are so much using that as an elitism thing are often our elites in our society today. So whether they're academic elites or they are or they're maybe they are in the news, or not so much in the news, but they're giving their commentary, or they're giving their or they're out there making movies and such, and they'll use this phrase, this so and so is a Zionist. He believes in this or that being all this greater thing. Well, this Zion is a greater thing. It is above others, and that's the whole point of using of talking about the gates of Zion and everything. And so, that was kind of one of the things I got out of this reading this morning. And to say that you were born in Zion means you were born in one of the great cities of the ancient world that God loved more than others. So, that's that, and that's really something. So, one of the things I want to talk about today, and I'm going to have to refer over to my screen over here to my right a little bit about this, but so I clicked something wrong. Sorry, I hope it didn't stop my stream. No, it's still good. So there was a brawl in a church. In this case, it was in Georgia, and this happens from time to time. Um, and we don't. Um, we have to pay attention to these things only because the world is watching, and we are. We're representing the church, God's church here. So we pay attention to these things that happen a long ways off. Georgia, Macon, and the Macon, Georgia, and the brawl that happened there. I'm not entirely certain what happened. As I understand it, the knowledge that I'm able to glean off of this is that it was there was a disagreement about one of the pastors, and there was a vote as to whether to even keep him or not. So apparently, whatever he did, whatever controversy he did, it was serious enough to question should he continue to be a pastor. Okay, and of course, this kind of tells me that there was a portion of this church that was centered around the individual. That was it was a church of personality. Now having a charismatic pastor has its pluses, without a doubt. But when the church and the parishioners are there for that pastor and not for God, these kind of things are going to happen. And so this is, and I can talk about this a little bit more because I'm in a church that's currently in transition. Our transition is our senior pastor, who is the founding pastor of our church from over 30 years ago, well over 30 years ago, as a matter of fact. I think it was 82 or 83. Our church was founded by him and a small group of people. That he's getting ready to retire. That's just what it is. He wants to retire. He and his wife would like to relax some. He doesn't want to work 80 hours a week anymore as a senior pastor. So we're a church in transition. We also just this year we changed. You change your youth pastors routinely no matter what. It seems to happen. And then also we have a new worship director that has just started in the past 6 months, and she's doing a great job. But these are the things. We're church in transition, so I can speak a little bit more on this. Although we are doing it peacefully. He has spent the past over a year now, almost a year and a half now, working on his transition out as we work on finding a new pastor. Okay, now in this case, this is an upheaval. This is something that's much more dramatic, and things are happening. But what happens in today's day and age is that something like this happens, and video gets out, and people are using it for clickbait. And I can see three different things from different. Actually, one is the Telegraph, which I believe the Telegraph is in England. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution, okay, Atlanta, Georgia. So at least that's local. And here's the Sacramento Bee, okay. Church brawl, fight breaks out at church in Macon, Georgia. And this is really so this is as big a news as anything else right now. This is almost as big as Donald Trump. So here's the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail is one story I read this morning. Peace be with you. Massive brawl breaks out in Georgia church. So they're being sarcastic about it. They're joking at us now about this very thing. And what happens is now people are looking at it going, oh yeah, those Christians, those peaceful people. Yeah, I get it. You guys are just as bad as us. Well, yes, actually we are. Okay, first off, we are just as bad as everybody else. But the difference is now they're going to use that as the people who are going to use any other reason not to come to church are going to use that as a reason not to come to church now. So this is a story that's all over the place now. that there are people that uh, are going to use this as a way of reason not to come to church now. And this is a stumbling block for a few people. This is going to cause a rift in some issues. And let's talk about this church itself. I mean, what has caused these people to, while in church, while discussing a very, yes, a heated subject, but a very, this is we're supposed to we have ways of dealing with this, right? Now I've left a link down below. One is a couple of links. First one is where I first heard about this, and it came across my feed from a channel that I subscribe to called The Messenger of Today. No spaces in that, and I left a link in the description for that. So check that one out. And then the other one, he gives some fairly he's fairly insightful about it. The other thing I did was a video I did of church unity. That just to me, it this is an important aspect of our lives with Christ, and it's kind of, and when I'm talking about it, this I did this a long time ago when I was sitting in my kitchen doing videos, and the basics of it is, all the denominations, all the differences that we have from church to church to church, we need to come down together as a unified structure and behind Jesus. And these people couldn't even come down as a unified structure in their own church in dealing with the controversial issue that's happening in their church. So we need to pray for these people. We need to pray for this church in Georgia. So please, if you have an opportunity throughout your day, throw up a couple of short ones, a couple of short prayers up to God, and just say, please, Lord, help this church, this Baptist church in Georgia. Help them find unity under you. Help them to come closer to you and deal with the situation that they're in properly. Lord, help us to be better witnesses to you, better servants of yours, to edify you and to show the world how great your love is. Amen. So say a prayer similar to that. I mean, use your own prayer. I mean, this is your conversation with God. But anyway, I'm going to cut it off because it's 6:30 already and I have to get going. I really have to get up earlier. You guys have a great day. God bless. We'll see you later.